Welcome to the Crypto Ledger. In the crypto world, things move at lightning speed, and sometimes a single leadership change can signal a huge shift for an entire ecosystem. Well, a recent, pretty quiet announcement from Ripple has done exactly that, kicking off a whole new chapter for one of its original architects, David Schwartz. So let's get into it and break down what this really means for Ripple, for XRP, and for the future.
All right, here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll look at the announcement that got everybody talking. Then, we'll dive into the incredible legacy of the man they literally call the architect. We'll break down his new role, connect it to the bigger picture, all that institutional money that's eyeing XRP, and finally, we'll ask the big question, what's next for Ripple?
So let's start with the news itself. This wasn't some stuffy corporate press release you'd miss in your inbox. No, this was way more personal. It was a direct message from the man himself, and it definitely caught people's attention.
This is it. A single post on X from David Schwartz, who many of you know by his handle, Joel Katz. It's so simple, so direct, but man, is it significant. In just a few words, it signaled the end of an entire era for Ripple's technical leadership. It was a quiet statement for sure, but with some very, very loud implications.
Now, here's what makes this so interesting, the timing. Schwartz drops this bombshell right before a huge webinar, one that was all about the future of XRP with big money institutional investors and the buzz around potential XRP ETFs. So you have an event that's all about looking forward, but this news instantly casts this reflective, almost historic vibe over the whole thing.
To really truly get the weight of this announcement, you have to understand who David Schwartz is to Ripple. He isn't just another C-suite executive. He's the architect, the guy who was there from the beginning, building the very foundations.
We're talking about more than 13 years. Think about that. In the crypto space, 13 years is basically an eternity. He's been the cornerstone of Ripple's technical vision since the very early days, shaping the technology that the entire ecosystem is built on.
And when you look at his journey, you can see his impact every step of the way. He was one of the original co-architects of the XRP Ledger way back in 2012. He was then officially named CTO in 2018. And from there, he just kept pushing key innovations forward for years and years. Which brings us right to this big transition. And we're not talking about small tweaks here. We're talking about the fundamental DNA of the XRP Ledger, from its one-of-a-kind consensus algorithm to the decentralized exchange that's baked right into the ledger. His work took an idea and turned it into one of the most scalable and efficient payment infrastructures on the planet.
But here is the most important part of this whole story. This is not a goodbye. Not at all. It's a strategic pivot. So the real question is, what is his new role actually going to look like?
Okay, so he's basically shifting gears. He's moving away from the intense day-to-day grind of being the Chief Technology Officer to a more high-level advisory position as CTO Emeritus. Plus, and this is a big deal, he's joining Ripple's board of directors. This means his strategic vision is still going to guide the company, just from a different seat at the table.
Now, as for the why, Schwartz said he wants to step back from the crazy daily demands of the CTO role to focus more on his family and personal life. But he made it crystal clear that his commitment to Ripple and the entire XRP ecosystem is as strong as it has ever been.
Now, to really understand the full picture here, we need to zoom out a bit and look at what's happening in the broader market. This leadership change isn't happening in a vacuum. It's happening at a really specific and super important moment for XRP. And speaking of the big picture, did you know that 80% of the people who watch our The Crypto Ledger videos are not subscribed? Please help us with your subscription to continue uploading more valuable information and reach more people.
All of this begs the obvious question, right? Why now? With so much momentum building up for XRP, why would a foundational leader like Schwartz choose this exact moment to shift his role?
Well, the answer really lies in this huge shift in perception that's happening. XRP is quickly evolving. It's moving past its old reputation for just speculative trading and is now being taken very seriously for institutional investment, which, as we all know, is the real gateway to mainstream adoption.
And trust me, this isn't just talk. Big-time asset managers are actively looking at XRP. The chatter around spot XRP ETFs is getting louder by the day. And remember that webinar we mentioned? The whole thing was focused on institutional exposure. So in a way, Schwartz is stepping back at the very moment that the ecosystem he built is getting ready to step onto its biggest stage yet.
So what does this all mean for the future of Ripple? Well, this transition isn't a sign of crisis, it's actually a sign of maturity. It really marks the beginning of Ripple's next chapter, one that's built on a vision that has been there from the very start.
The response from inside Ripple's leadership has been nothing but positive. Both CEO Brad Garlinghouse and President Monica Long praised Schwartz as a true visionary, really emphasizing that his work laid the groundwork for the company's success and made it ready for whatever comes next.
So here's the key takeaway. David Schwartz's legacy isn't just about what he built in the past. It's about how that work has perfectly set Ripple up for this new wave of institutional finance. You could say he built a world-class engine, and now that engine is finally ready to hit the superhighway.
So while him leaving the CTO role is definitely the end of an era, his new spot on the board ensures his vision is going to stick around. And that leaves us with one final fascinating question to think about. As one of the crypto industry's most important architects pivots to a new role, what is Ripple's next wave of innovation going to look like? Crypto news disclaimer. The information presented in this summary is for informational and educational purposes only. It does not constitute financial, investment, legal, or any other type of advice. The crypto ledger is not responsible for the decisions you make based on this content. Always conduct your own research and consult with a qualified professional before making any financial decision. Cryptocurrencies and digital assets are inherently volatile and carry a high level of risk.